The Jacksonville Jaguars have been doing a lot. Some of the stuff I can explain, some of it I cannot. Let's break it down. Number one, the Jaguars signed Pro Bowl guard Brandon Sherf from Washington. He's 30 years old. It's a solid move. It helps rebuild the offensive line, and it really helps to support your young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Move number one, love it. Number two, they signed tight end Evan Ingram from the New York Giants on a one-year deal, $9 million, fully guaranteed. He will be 28 in September. The Jaguars very much need a tight end, so it's an all right move. Evan Ingram had his least productive year of his career last year. 46 catches, 408 yards, 3 touchdowns. I don't know. He had a lot of drops. He didn't have a huge impact last year. However, he has talent. The Jaguars are desperate at tight end, and I am curious how he's going to. I mean, it's very possible that Trevor Lawrence is a much better quarterback than Daniel Jones. I have an open mind here. I want to see how things go, and this could be a guy who either does really well and signs a long-term contract to stay in Jacksonville, or he's going to be a big bust and it doesn't work out at all in Jacksonville. He's on a one-year prove-it deal. Let's see how things go. The Jaguars also signed 2 receivers. They signed number one, Zay Jones, they gave him a 3-year, $24 million contract. Zay Jones will be 27 this fall. He's been in the NFL for 5 years. His last year he played for the Las Vegas Raiders. He had 47 catches, 546 yards, 1 touchdown catch. It was a big one. It was a game-winning touchdown on Monday Night Football to beat the Ravens in overtime. It was a huge play, actually. Zay Jones is fine. We'll see what he can do. He hasn't really gotten a real shot to be a starting receiver yet. It feels like a little bit of an overpay, a little bit of a stretch, but we'll see. Now, here's the big one, though. The really crazy contract. They paid wide receiver Christian Kirk $84 million on a 4-year deal. Christian Kirk is 25 years old. He's been in the NFL for 4 years. Last year in Arizona, he had his best year of his career as a pro. He had 77 catches for 982 yards, 5 touchdown catches. It's worth noting, though, Christian Kirk, making a ton of money, has never had a 1,000-yard receiving season ever in his career. And it feels like the Jaguars overpaid for Christian Kirk, undoubtedly. Here's the thing, though. The Jaguars have to overpay people. That is going to have to be their strategy. Jacksonville is a bad organization. Nobody trusts them. They're not a very desirable place to play. Not when you're a bad football team that's been run poorly for a long time. In order to attract players, you have to overpay them. And if you're going to get them to come, you got to give them an incentive, a reason to want to come. A lot of money is a pretty good one. And look, they are aggressively supporting their young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. I would rather them aggressively try to get Trevor help and overpay guys than twiddle their thumbs, sit at home, and do nothing at all. So I don't mind the attitude. They're doing what they can. They are trying to support their young quarterback. Is it perfect? No. But the story that would be way worse is if the Jaguars were doing nothing, not adding anybody to help their young quarterback. So I am fine with them overpaying receivers to go get Trevor help. And if Trevor does well, then eventually people will want to come play with him. And they might even take a pay cut to do that, but you got to earn that right. And the only way to earn that is to win and do well. And if overpaying Christian Kirk helps Trevor Lawrence do well, I mean, it's pretty clear the Jaguars don't care about winning right now. They care about Trevor Lawrence doing well. Probably the right thing to focus on. The Jaguars aren't going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. You might as well just try to win and do well and, one step at a time. You don't need to build a Super Bowl team right now. You need to build a team that can do well around Trevor Lawrence, and that's what they're focused on, and I like it. Here's one move I do not get, though, and I don't really support. Because when I say, you got to support your young quarterback, great. Doesn't mean you need to ignore your defense. And they cut linebacker Miles Jack, their leading tackler last year. And it's not like he's old. He's 26 years old, 27 in September. They cut him to save $8.35 million. That does not feel worth it to me. Your best defensive player, you're going to get cut him for $8 million? I mean, to me, it makes almost no sense. You're letting a good player in his prime walk away from your organization. And you didn't even trade him. You're just going to let him leave. makes no sense to me. I don't like it. I don't understand it. But Miles Jack is available. He's a great player. I guess we'll see where he goes. I would love to see Miles Jack go to a really good football team and win somewhere. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that could use a linebacker. He's really dang good, but it's a move that, from the Jaguars' perspective, how does that sound? You cut a player who was not that expensive, who is your best defensive player in his prime. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how Jaguars fans feel good about that one, especially when you're overpaying Christian Kirk a ton of money. Okay. All right. Pay the guy who's done nothing in his career, but don't keep the guy who's been killing it for years for you, who's young, 26. I don't know. The Jaguars, I can defend and I can explain away why they signed Christian Kirk. I can explain away why they brought in Zay Jones, a little bit overpaid. I can't explain the Miles Jack move at all. I mean, other than, I guess I wanted to save money. I would never want to save money so badly that I'll cut Miles Jack for $8 million. That feels like a nonsensical thing to do. So, I don't know. You can decide for yourself. To me, it makes no sense.